What is the difference between being humble, being genuine, versus being secretive, mysterious? The first two I listed, they're generally associated with something positive. When I think of the word humble, I think of maybe a king sitting on his throne, very generous, right? Very humble. But when I think of the word secretive, I think of a guy in a hoodie, right? Black hoodie, hunched over, walking down the street. Some people, they might think of the word mysterious and secretive. That might actually be something they chase because they think of it as something positive, like a lot of the Sigma male guys. And I'm not really one to talk about that because I don't even show my face on my YouTube videos. But for what I'm talking about right now, I'm not really talking about online. I'm talking about when you're in the real world, out and about, talking with people. Let's say your friend went to the gym for the first time and then he starts telling you about his experience, right? Oh, yeah, I went to the gym for the first time, right? I did this, I did that. And then you interrupt him. Yeah, well, I benched 400, right? And then he's like, okay. And he starts talking about his stuff again. And then like, yeah, and then I squatted like 600. That's not being humble. You're just saying your accomplishments, right? You're just bringing them out in the open for no reason, really. And obviously you know that. So then at what opportunity would it be appropriate for you to say your accomplishments? All right, let's say we go to the previous example. Your friend went to the gym for the first time. He's saying, yeah, I did this, I did that, right? And then I benched this. How much can you bench? Then you tell him how much you can bench because he asked, right? And then he says, I did this, I did that. I squatted. How much can you squat? And you tell him how much you can squat, or you get the gist. And this is where this can get very confused with being secretive, right? Because it might seem humble when he says, how much can you bench, right? You'd lie about your bench, make it lower. Or you don't say it out. You say, well, I don't bench at all. Or you just might try to move on from the topic, right? Not really answer the question, just kind of move on. And that might seem like a more humble, more courageous thing to do. But if you didn't move on, like let's say you lied about how much you can bench, or you said, I don't bench at all, right? You are lying. So that's obviously not a good thing. You don't want to lie. And it might make them feel better for the short term. But if they find out that you lied, they aren't going to like you for that. They're going to feel like you think you're above them, like they're being babied. And they might even think that you just don't want to tell them because you don't think that they're worth it, right? They're not on your level or something like that. And that's going to ruin people's perception of you. People are going to be more distant from you because you're being more distant from them. You're not being genuine. You're lying to their face. You're not being very courageous. But sometimes you don't have to say your accomplishments out loud just when people ask. A good rule of thumb is don't say things that don't need to be said. I forgot where I learned that quote from. Could have been Marcus Aurelius, I don't remember. But if we take the opposite of that quote, say things that are beneficial. If it's beneficial for you to say your accomplishments and whatever you're saying, then say it. Let's use another gym example. Let's say you've been training for 8 years. You have a pretty impressive physique. Then some guy comes over, one of his first times ever at the gym, and he's all unmotivated. He's like, oh, I've been going here for weeks. I'm still chubby. I'm not making any muscle. So then you come up to him. Well, when I first came to the gym, I was 70 pounds overweight, and I could only deadlift 100 pounds. But now, I've lost all that extra body fat and even put on a lot of muscle. Now I can easily deadlift over 500 pounds. Like he says, wow, so you were chubby like me and you didn't have any muscle and you look like this now? I better go train hard too. In that regard, you brought up your accomplishments and you helped somebody. You've seen this effect happen online. For example, with Zeus, his transformation. He was a skinny dude and he bulked up, and then that inspired a lot of people. With bodybuilders in general, like Arnold. Arnold might have not really had a transformation, but a lot of people still look up to him and get motivated from him. And that might not have been Arnold's exact goal because he is a bodybuilder. It's kind of impossible for him to not show off his muscles until he became an actor. But even as an actor, you're still going to show off your physique. I don't really think that was the main goal, but that was the effect. And that effect was that he inspired people. And I brought that up because that kind of applies to what we're talking about now, especially with the guy who works out for 8 years and then the newbie comes in, that example. And I don't necessarily mean to build up muscle and upload that on the internet, even though that can have a motivating effect on some people. It's not the same as the example I used with the guy who works out for 8 years, right? And he comes up to the newbie, he talks to him one-on-one. Because in this situation, when you upload something online, you're not going to be talking one-on-one, right? You're just showing to a bunch of random people, and to some people that might motivate, but for other people that might not be something that's necessarily needed. So you're kind of doing what doesn't need to be done, or saying what doesn't need to be said. And to the people where that's not something that's needed for them, that's not something that's going to help them, you're just showing off your accomplishments for no reason. Still, like I said, there are going to be people who, when you see what you uploaded to the internet, that might be something that benefits them, right? Just from seeing the progress you made, that might help them with the progress they want to make. But that's for you to think about, the net losses, the net positives. That's not something I'm really planning on ever doing. But like I said, it's up to you because it does have positives. I'll use another example about physique, bodybuilding and gym culture, because I think those type of examples are something that a lot of people can relate to. You've seen the guys, they go to the gym, they have an oversized, baggy sweatshirt. I think that's been a new trend recently. I don't know if it's been for a while, but that's what I've seen so far. Online, that is, because I don't go to the gym. I just work out at home. Okay, but he could be fat, he could be jacked, you don't really know. And maybe some people like working out with a sweatshirt, but for this example, I'm also going to add that he doesn't like working out in a sweatshirt. He just wants to be humble. He doesn't want to show off his progress. In that regard, he's hindering himself. He's hiding himself from the world, right? Not showing any of his accomplishments. So you're just being mysterious. You're kind of hiding yourself from people, right? Putting some distance between you and the other people you talk to. Because when you show the world less of yourself, that doesn't come off as more genuine or more humble, just more secretive. And some people can interpret that as the wrong way. Like, oh, maybe he doesn't think I'm on his level, right? He wants to hide from me, or maybe, right, something like that. Maybe he's planning something behind the scenes. You get what I'm saying. And let's say you're one of those calisthenics guys, right? You're showing people how to do a push-up correctly, how to do a squat correctly, and you want to make a video how to do a pull-up correctly. You're not even going to be able to show people how to do a pull-up correctly in the best way possible unless you reveal your physique, unless you become shirtless, right? You want to show, okay, this is how you want your scapula to move. This is how you want your shoulders to be. This is at what position you want your arms to be, right? All that stuff. And for our last example, if we move on from training, let's say you have a really nice car, you painted it up, it's all nice. Just getting from point A to point B, you're going to have to show off your car, right? It's going to be glamorous and everyone's going to see it. Obviously not on purpose. But to even use your car, the car you built up, you spend so much time on. So pretty much part of being genuine and being humble takes showing more of you, right? Not always hiding from the world. And sometimes that's going to mean showing off your accomplishments. And people are probably going to like you more for that. But generally speaking, the people you meet, your loved ones, they're going to appreciate you more when you make them a bigger part of your life by actually telling them the things you do, by not lying to their face, even if it might seem more courageous to diminish how many push-ups you can do or lie about how much money you make.